everybody. Cassie and Eric here, and thanks for joining us on the She Talks, He Listens podcast, where we're going to dive into the joys, challenges of relationships, and really all of life's twists and turns.
Yeah, we're here to share our journey with you and explore just the lessons we've learned along the way. Whether you're just starting out, looking to deepen your connection, or even save it, we're here to inspire you and challenge you to become the best versions of yourself side by side. I'm so excited to be here with you.
I'm excited to be here with you too, babe.
Okay, we have to be honest because that's the whole point of this podcast. How long did it take us to record this first episode, babe?
Well, I think we order on Amazon our microphones
Prime Day
last July.
Yeah.
And it was on our New Year's resolution board heading into 2024, and better late than never, but waiting until December to fulfill your New Year's resolution. I'm excited to see what we come up with next year.
Yeah, so our vision board has been sitting with all these things. We've done pretty good. I mean, we haven't neglected the whole board, but this is something that we really hope to kick off this past June when we were celebrating 17 years.
17 years.
Yeah, 17 years together, and it just didn't happen. Life got in the way, and so here we are in December of 2024, but better late than never. I mean, we're getting it done in 2024, and that's all the vision board said. So I am so excited that we're getting to dust off the mics and talk to y'all today. I think as we move into the rest of this episode, it's important that you know who the heck we are. So to get started, Eric, would you like to give your elevator pitch on the background and history of our relationship, the 3 to 5 minute version?
Well, I don't think we're going to be able to fit all of that into 3 to 5 minutes, but that is going to be the whole point of the show. So just a little bit of background. I met Cassie in high school. I think freshman year, the first time I remember meeting you was at a football game, and you and your sister looked exactly alike. I thought you guys were twins, but Cassie wasn't even on my radar at that point.
Thank you.
It wasn't until sophomore year when we went to a friend's house. She had a belly button ring, and that caught my attention. So,
oh my God.
So from there, we did start dating that summer. We've been through a lot of ups and downs in our high school career. And that was just really the beginning of it. We both went off at, really our separate ways into college. She went south to pursue, was a music management degree, and I went north to play football. So we've had a lot of ups and downs in college, but we always had a countdown. We always had something to look forward to. Cassie bought several plane tickets to come watch me play, and
to fly into the Moline airport.
Yeah. She had to bundle up coming from Tennessee up to Iowa. So we had a lot of fun. But again, a lot of challenges and adversity along the way. And once we moved through college, we've kind of been all over the place. We were in I think Florida post college, and we've been in St. Louis, we've been back in Iowa for a short period, and now we're back down south in Alabama, where we've really kind of planted our roots, and we've become parents, and to a beautiful little girl, and second one on the way. So I'd say that's the elevator pitch.
That's pretty good.
From high school down to being a parent, we have 17 years of experience that we'd like to share a little bit more in depth.
We did get married.
We did get married.
You finally agreed to marry me. Yeah, you finally agreed to marry me.
That's also a funny story.
After 12 years of dating, a breakup in there, a breakup or two, and now we've been married 6 years. We just celebrated our 6-year anniversary. Right. So I think for me, what's so funny is, like, you remember meeting freshman year. I don't really. I remember talking to you, like, the first time I remember you is when I was talking to you for a friend that liked you. And my God, he is just as beautiful then as he is now, but like so shy. And so I've never been shy. That's not a part of my vocabulary. And I felt like I was talking to a wall because you did not give me the time of day. I think I got like one word answers. But
you have to plant the seed of love, is what I told her.
We weren't planting a seed of love. I was talking to you about a friend
playing hard to get.
Oh my
right
gosh.
Off the bat.
Well, either way, I just could not handle how sweet and cute and kind he was. And thankfully, it didn't work out with those two. And I'm very glad it worked out in my favor. But I think it's funny how we both remember meeting each other differently. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, Eric was then and still is the very best friend that I've ever had. I think you showed me a different form of friendship, one that I hadn't been given before. And our friendship really formed the foundation, I think, of what we fought for all this time is we really do love each other, but my God, I can't imagine doing life without you in it, because there's been a lot of life in high school alone, heavy diagnosis, in my family. In college, my parents got divorced. We were doing long distance. We've experienced loss and death of family members and just heavy stuff at young ages that I can't imagine having to go through without you or alone. So now we get to ride the roller coaster of our 30s together and parenting, and we have one on the way. So we're going to be parents of two, which is still the weirdest thing ever. But honestly, what brought us to this place and space for this podcast is how many people have just said, hey, you guys have a really kind of crazy, cool story that you should share. And I mean, it's definitely crazy. We both agree on that. I think it made us realize that maybe by sharing some of our history, sharing some of the adversity, the good and the bad, the funny, the serious, that we can, challenge you to find that in your own relationships and inspire you to fight for love, because it's not like we've been together 17 years without a great deal of work.
Well, and I think that's what makes us, a little bit different is, we've been through it all. We met at 14. Mm-hmm. What are we now? 30, 32.
Don't tell our age. What? Don't tell our age.
So we've been through a lot of ups and downs. We've experienced multiple phases of life. Mm-hmm. From being teenagers to college to figuring out how to live post college to now figuring out parenthood. So
yeah, well, we hit like all the milestones together. Mm-hmm. We learned to drive in the same car. We were in the same driver's ed class. We were. And we did behind the wheel together. That's why we're both great drivers. And we got to turn 18 together and 21 and do things like voting together for the first time. Mm-hmm. I am 6 days older than Eric. So in all of those milestones, I got to just rub it in his face for 6 days, like drive you around, drink legally, and do all the fun stuff.
Hold on for my wife for 6 days. Once
driving you to the fair. Yeah. When we were 16 in the middle of August. Yeah. But I think for us, that is where, a lot of fun has happened along the way in the midst of the madness. But we've done a lot of fighting for each other. We've done a lot of fighting with each other. Yep.
That's normally one-sided, but
and then we find ways to laugh and grow together. And I think that's the biggest hope for this podcast, is that we can share our story and give you an opportunity to see that everybody goes through similar challenges. But what really makes us different is we choose each other every time, even when it gets really, really hard. From adolescence to adulthood, we continue to fight for each other. We're on the same team. And as parents, that's become way more important to be on the same team, because now we have a 3-year-old who has figured out she can try to manipulate us, which is a fun adventure. Yeah. So I think for, when we're looking at what we hope to achieve, is we want it to be fun. We want it to fill your cup, but we want it to fill our cup too. And then we want to be able to share little bits and pieces of our life. And I think we should start with kind of where it all began. 14, summer 2007, right?
Summer 2007.
Yeah. So do you want to share the story about how we became official, or do you want me to share it?
I can give you my recollection. Okay. If you want to fill in the blanks.
We'll take your story first.
So I already mentioned that, we met at a friend's house. We didn't officially start dating at that time, but what was it? Maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
No, I have no idea.
2 weeks, 3 weeks went by, and invited her over. We had a little get together just with some of my friends, and we
What all
were
14-year-olds are doing, hanging out in their parents' basement.
hanging out in their parents' basement. As the night went on, I just leaned in and whispered in her ear, "Would you like to be my girlfriend?"
Mhm.
And really, the rest is history from there. I believe there was a time, though, maybe a week before that, that you came over, and I didn't ask you out. I didn't even give you a kiss goodnight, and I think you had a big problem with that.
I was so mad. I was so mad. Well, and this goes back to you being really shy. And you have always put up like a chase. I still feel like you do. There are some times when I'm like, I feel like I am having to chase you down to love me. But that's kind of a personal problem because I don't think there's ever enough love in my book, like from
So
you.
that's the difference. You have a lot left to give.
But,
I'm a little bit more reserved.
But what's weird is I love to give love. I don't necessarily like to receive it from everybody. I do like to receive it from you. And I think part of the reason that, we're going on all this time together is because you still just dangle what did you say? You plant the love seed.
Plant the seed of
yeah,
love.
Whatever. And yeah, so that night was really the first time over at your house, getting to meet your mom. I was going through my hippie phase. That's what we'll call it. Yeah, all decked out in tie-dye, peace signs, hemp necklaces,
wristbands,
neck bands.
Looked like a gladiator coming into the house.
It was a bracelet. And at the time, it made a lot of sense. I had my tube top that I tie-dyed myself. And yeah, we watched movies. We had friends, there was a group of us, and you walked me out and you didn't even kiss me goodbye. And I was so upset because I'm like, does this guy even like me at all?
Hey, did you come back the next week?
I did. I came back. I'm a closer. I was going to get it done. But I also think too, during that time, this was when AOL Instant Messenger was still a thing, AIM, for those of you who are old enough, because we weren't really texting at that point. Like, we had phones, but it was like an LG chocolate, and you had was it a Razor? Is that what it was called?
I can't remember.
Like
Propel.
the Propel.
Yeah,
oh gosh.
Propel.
And you weren't T9ing your life away at that point because it was so hard to text.
Well, I didn't really go through a texting phase. And then one day my dad asked me, why is his texting bill so high? Because we only had 500 text messages to send per month. So
you were
had to explain that. Cassie hit those in one day.
I do think it's funny looking back, the fact that there were limits on text. Can you imagine? We had a texting plan, and you could run out of text messages per day.
It's pretty wild because I went upstairs last night and you sent me about 25 text messages just in the 20 minutes.
That's because I am too pregnant to walk up the stairs to tell you something simple. Things have not changed. But all that to be said, about a week later, I came back over and you did. You asked me to be your girlfriend. We were sitting on a bar stool, and June 1st, 2007 will always be one of my most favorite days. Even with all the bumps along the way, I think that was really, for me, just the start of something so special. And you couldn't have told either one of us at that point that we'd be together all this time later. But I do feel like we always knew that we had something that other people didn't have.
Yeah, I think we talked about it over AIM at some points, why do people, break up, or, just different things like that. And so we kind of talked through those, I'd say, early on.
Mm-hmm.
Little did we know we'd be going through different colleges and things like that would, literally separate us. But I think we had a lot of those conversations early on about what we wanted our life to be, what it could be.
Yeah.
And
together.
Just kind of doing a little bit of forecasting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, when you're not, we were physically together every day. We went to the same school. We were together every minute we could be. I mean, if you weren't at football practice and I wasn't working, we were pretty much together. And then if we weren't together, we were on AIM. What were you, slice and dice? Yeah, slice and dice.
My brother actually made that for me. I wasn't creative, so I asked my brother, will you make me a screen name? And that's what he came up with.
Yeah, I was blonde at heart, 92C. I don't know why I thought that was cute or fun at the time, but I did. And I was in summer school. Remember, I was going to summer school every day because at our school, it was easier to do gym during the summer than it was to do it in your uniform and with tights on. Yeah. So that's a whole other story. But I will say that's where it all began. And I think the rest isn't really history. The rest really shaped us. And we've got so many crazy, funny stories that, we want to share our journey with you. But the biggest thing that for me always kind of has rang true is just how much of my person you are. And you've never wanted me to be anything different than who I am. You've always helped me grow and challenge myself, but you've never wanted me to compromise myself. And I think that's really, really important as for anybody listening, whether you're young or older or established in a relationship or new in a relationship, is your partner should complement you. They shouldn't be there to change you.
Yeah, I think just supporting you through what you want to do.
Yeah.
I support everything that you do,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how crazy it is. But and saying that, I expect the same support, and you've supported me as well. So just kind of a mirroring effect, in a sense. If I'm going to support you through some of the dreams that you have and some of the goals that you have, I expect it to be reciprocated, and she does.
Yeah. And I think, starting at a really young age, we both had big dreams. I was doing music and you were doing football. You wanted to continue in college, and so did I. My sister and I were really heavy into the music industry, really like right after we met, we started. And so there was a lot of adversity there that we faced that I don't think is common for a lot of 14, 15, 16-year-olds that are dating. And I do think that adversity at a really young age prepared us for a lot of the things we've come across in our life as adults. And so we're excited to share that with you guys. We're going to dive into all things Eric and Cassie, whether it's back in high school, college, parenthood, with our family, with our parents, with siblings. There's a lot of life changes, like that amazing Thomas Rhett song. So we're excited to get into it with you guys. We're grateful that we get to do this in 2024, not next year. We hope to have a couple of episodes a month. That's our goal. And really for us, we want you to walk away feeling inspired, feeling like you have something you can relate to, and really something that can challenge you to go back to your partner and be better, show up in maybe a way that you weren't showing up before, and just kind of challenge your thinking. That's one thing that, Eric, you're awesome at. You continue to challenge my thinking all the time.
Well, everybody grows up in a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
So sometimes thoughts do have to be challenged, and I think that goes both ways. But challenging can oftentimes make you better. So everything's a learning experience, and we've done a lot of that through 17 years.
Yeah. And I think too, everybody is brought up so differently, and we'll definitely unpack that. Eric, you're one of four. You have three brothers. I'm one of two. I have a younger sister, and we couldn't have been raised any differently. Right. I mean, we were raised in the same town, but totally different planets is what it really felt like. And so it was awesome for me to get to come in at 14 and get to see the Williamsons and how you guys operate, honestly, and how you function as a family unit, and even your grandparents and your cousins, your aunts and uncles. You have a really big family. And for me, it was always this kind of family unit of four, and high drama, 2 daughters and constant chaos. And so now we have that. We're going into that. We're going to have our second daughter so soon. So for us, there's a lot of just different perspectives, different thoughts to bring to the table. But we're so excited to share it with you guys. And we'll very much look forward to our next episode right before Christmas. Hopefully we'll get that done and have our 2 in 2024.
Yeah.
Cross it off the list.
Absolutely. And really just remember, no matter where you are in your journey, every step is really a chance to grow together.
Yeah. And we'll be here to keep the conversation going. So join us next time for more insights, laughs, real talk. But until then, keep talking, keep listening, and keep showing up for each other. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.